Yo guys, what is up? Welcome back to another video. I am shooting today with Tomi. He runs the Gadgets Boy YouTube channel. This is his studio. This is his Sony a7S III. We are testing and comparing it against the brand new Google Pixel 7 Pro. Also a quick one, I just want to mention there is a giveaway currently ending very shortly, so don't miss that one if you want to win an item from my desk setup video. It'll be the top link in the description if you're interested in checking that out. Without further ado, let's get into the comparison.
You guys saw this one in the intro, shot 1 and shot 2 here. I'm just going to be showing you one after the other with these ones. I'll sort of keep switching backwards and forwards. Also, we're going to be focusing massively on video in this comparison because the Sony a7S III is of course a video-centric professional camera. Back to this one though, the first shot was the Sony a7S III and the second shot, this one was the Google Pixel 7 Pro with the main rear-facing 50 megapixel sensor. In my experience, the vast majority of the power nowadays on smartphone cameras comes from shooting RAW, so all of these shots, both on the Sony and on the Pixel, are shot in RAW, and then I've sort of edited them to bring them up to a sort of kind of fair, equal point, just so things aren't, you know, massively underexposed or anything like that. But this one, things were round the other way. The first shot was the Pixel image, and this one here was the Sony a7S III image. For me, the giveaway in this particular still is actually the detail in the sky. The Sony image is a lot more sort of balanced, whereas the Pixel, the sky and the detail in the sky is a little bit lost. You're not getting quite as much of that information. One of the huge selling points of the a7S III is it has one of the best in-body image stabilization systems available on the market. So we've got two videos here. I'm going to play you one after the other. This is a really tricky stabilization test for these cameras. So obviously I went up those stairs, which were incredibly jerky, and then I've just kind of walked over to this point, and then we'll do a bit of static sort of panning around. So this is obviously the first one, camera A, and then we'll switch now over to camera B, and we'll see whether you can spot the difference. So here's obviously going up the main steps. You can already see that this shot is obviously substantially more shaky. I kind of obviously was kind of controlling my steps to a degree, but there was a limit to how much that was actually even possible. So I'm probably not surprising people when I tell you that this one was the Sony a7S III, and the first shot, this one right here, was the Google Pixel 7 Pro. And this just goes to show like how insane the stabilization is on these video cameras in the phones nowadays. You're essentially getting close to gimbal level performance out of a little smartphone, which is just like insanely impressive. Like I said, the Sony a7S III, this is a selling point. A good stabilization, good in-body image stabilization on the Sony a7 III. Obviously, it's not meant for like quite as aggressive steps as these, but a big win for the Pixel. I don't use portrait mode pretty much ever on my phones, but I know that a lot of people do. So we've got a portrait mode style shot here, and here that was shot 1. This one shot 2. We'll go again. We'll keep these all the same in the same order. Shot 1 and then shot 2 here. I don't think this one is particularly close. I think portraits are a time where a professional camera really does come into its own. These ones obviously come from the Sony, and then these ones on the Pixel. The reason I don't really like portrait mode is it's obviously replicating what a proper camera sensor does in terms of depth of field. And what I will just say is that this shot on the 3x telephoto, look at how much natural bokeh here we're getting. Here's the Sony shot, I'll just tell you for this one, but here is the Google Pixel one, and this is relatively close, and this is not a portrait mode shot. This is a raw file. You can see the really nice quality of shallow depth of field we get in this image. I'm absolutely loving this telephoto. Okay, you guys really enjoyed this when we did this last time. We're calling this the Quickfire round, so I'm throwing up a ton of photos on screen, and then the last second I'm revealing which one. So you've got one here. I wonder if you'd be surprised if I told you that this was the Pixel 7 Pro. We've got another one here, lovely looking shot, again the Pixel 7 Pro. This one is the Sony a7S III version of that shot. We've got a shot here. I wonder if you can figure this one out. That is the Sony a7S III. How about this one? You kind of get the picture. We're just absolutely rolling with it here, one after the other, and again just revealing towards the end which one is which. I was actually really surprised by some of these shots. I'm really genuinely impressed by the quality of pretty much all three of the cameras on the Google Pixel 7 Pro for stills. Some more video now, and this for me really is where the Sony a7S III starts to really pull away. So here we have shot 1 and then moving on to shot 2. Same shot, similar amounts of motion in these, obviously the same exact lighting situation. Shot 1 was the a7S III, and then shot 2 was the Google Pixel. I'm beginning to sound a bit like a broken record in these videos. For me, the biggest giveaway here is the sharpness. Obviously, smartphone cameras sharpen a lot. The image on the left is far more subtle, far softer, but also with a more filmic look, whereas the right is more clinical and just very, very over sharp. Here's another video comparison. We'll make this a little bit faster because I think it's going to be a very similar story across the board. The Sony a7S III is an absolutely beautiful cinema camera. You can see the differences here really in terms of color, in terms of dynamic range. It's just kind of looking really, really beautiful, whereas the Pixel is sort of inclined to create good looking images that are nice and even, but it definitely loses some of the sort of filmic value, and I wouldn't describe this footage as beautiful. Another one side by side here, just because I kind of think this is an interesting way to look at it. I think what's actually really interesting between these two shots, the light was dimming here, and it's interesting to see how the Pixel and the Sony actually deal with that lower light. It seems like the Sony kind of tends to actually adjust for that low light and sort of make it actually look like it's a little lower light, whereas the Pixel actually boosts those colors and those visuals up and almost tries to make it look just like daylight. Obviously, a main reason why people actually go for the Pixel 7 Pro itself is because of this telephoto zoom on the back of the camera, and it's absolutely amazing. It's a 5 times optical zoom, and you do get beautiful photos and video out of it, and the fact that it's just like on the back of your phone is just super, super cool. It's one of my favorite features about the phone. So we've got a telephoto shot here. That one was shot 1. We'll move on to shot 2 here. I didn't actually have a long enough zoom lens to be able to shoot this on the Sony, so this one, and yes, shot 2 is shot on my Canon EOS R6 with a 70-200mm lens, and again, that just kind of shows you how powerful these phones are, or this specific phone is. The fact that you're really replicating a whole lens set with all of the lenses on the back of your Google Pixel 7. Another massive advantage of the Google Pixel line over a more professional traditional camera is the inclusion of motion modes. I was super, super happy with these last time I tested the Google Pixel 6, and I actually used that for a good few months and really enjoyed the motion modes. You could shoot long exposures directly on the phone, action pan shots. You could of course do this on a professional camera, but you need tons of equipment, and you can do this straight away with the Pixel without anything extra. With these motion modes aside, actually capturing motion properly on smartphones is really, really quite bad. You can see like a shot here taken on the Sony a7S III is really easy to control. The autofocus is snapping on nice and quick to the subject's face, and the shutter speed shoots fast enough even in a slightly low light environment that there is enough sort of light captured in the frame, and that motion is nice and frozen. This similar shot on the Pixel 7 just really struggles, like it's a bit noisy, and the shutter speed just isn't fast enough with the amount of available light to properly capture that motion. So if you ever do any sort of sports photography or anything like that, you are definitely going to want a professional camera. Another thing that the Google Pixel 7 just can't really keep up with is raw captures in low light situations. So you can see these shots shot here on the Sony a7S III. These are of course raw files. They allow you for full creative control within the edit, and these are the Google Pixel 7 sort of counterparts of those images taken in raw. You can see how much noise and artificial light there is going into that shot. These though are the JPEG versions of those, the kind of straight out of the camera, not raw, not edited versions. You can see really just how much processing is going on these standard JPEGs from Google. So I would definitely say if you're shooting raw, stick to it in sort of decent light situations. If you're in a slightly harder dynamic range situation or a low light situation, stick to this standard sort of JPEG capture within the normal camera app.
Yo guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this one. If you are interested in seeing a full photography review of the Google Pixel 7, please let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you're curious, this is how the iPhone 14 Pro got on when I compared it to my professional Canon EOS R6.